A lioness had just given birth to her adorable cubs when she was brutally attacked by another lioness from the pride. And what happened next was something no one could have predicted. It all started in the golden grasslands of the Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya. A lioness named Sita had just given birth to two beautiful cubs. The little bundles of joy were still wobbly on their feet, but they were healthy and strong. Sita was an experienced mother. She had raised several litters of cubs before and knew exactly how to care for them. She taught them how to hunt, how to be stealthy, and how to survive in the wild. But not everyone in the pride was happy about the new arrivals. There was another lioness named Zuri who was jealous of Sita's cubs. Zuri had given birth to her own litter of cubs a few months earlier, but they had been taken away by another male lion in the pride. Zuri was angry and bitter, and she took her frustrations out on Sita and her cubs. One day, Zuri approached the pride and let out a loud roar. All the lions looked up, startled by the sudden noise. Zuri glared at Sita and her cubs, and then she charged. The other lionesses scattered, but Sita was too afraid to move. She had never seen Zuri this angry before, and she was terrified that her cubs would be next. Zuri pounced, and for a moment it seemed like everything was over. But just then, the most unlikely of heroes appeared. It was a small dog who had been watching the attack from afar. The dog was a stray, and he had been living on his own for several years. He had seen many attacks from lions firsthand, and he knew how dangerous these predators can be. So, without hesitation, the dog ran towards the lions and started barking furiously. The dog's name was Toto, and he was small, only about 20 pounds. But he was fast and agile. He weaved in and out of the lions, barking and snapping at them until they finally backed off. When the coast was clear, Toto ran to the lioness and the cubs and licked their faces in a gesture of comfort. Sita was stunned. She had never seen a dog before, let alone one that was willing to help her and her cubs. She was grateful for Toto's help, but she was also worried about what would happen next. Lions are powerful predators, and they don't take kindly to being outsmarted by a small dog. Toto knew that this was only a temporary reprieve, and he needed to come up with a plan to protect Sita and her cubs. He knew that lions are not keen on chasing down dogs because they prefer to hunt larger prey, so Toto decided to use this to his advantage. He started running around the pride, barking and making himself look big and important. The lions wanted nothing more than to chase him down and make a quick meal out of him, but Toto was too quick for them. He dodged their paws and bites, and he kept running until he got away. Once he was far enough away from the pride, Toto slowed down and caught his breath. He looked back and saw the lions giving chase, but they soon gave up and turned back. Toto knew that he had made them think twice about attacking him, but he also knew that this wouldn't last forever. He needed to find a way to keep them away from Sita and her cubs for good. So Toto did something even more surprising. He walked right up to the edge of the watering hole and lapped up some water. Then he did something that no dog should ever do. He climbed up a tree. Toto had never climbed a tree before in his life, but he managed to scramble up the rough bark and make it to the top. From here, he had a perfect view of the watering hole and the surrounding area. And if any lion came too close, he would be able to warn Sita and her cubs in time. The lions were puzzled by Toto's actions. They had never seen a dog climb a tree before, and they didn't know what to do. This gave Toto the time he needed to rest and catch his breath. He looked down at the lions and let out a loud bark. They snarled back, but they didn't dare come any closer. As the sun began to set, Toto climbed down the tree and approached Sita and her cubs. They were hesitant at first, but Toto's friendly demeanor soon put them at ease. He stayed with them throughout the night, keeping them safe from any potential predators. In the morning, Sita and her cubs were grateful for Toto's help. They nuzzled him and licked his face as a way of saying thank you. Toto felt a sense of fulfillment. He knew that he had done the right thing by helping them. From that day on, Toto became a member of the pride. He lived with the lions and helped protect them from any danger. The other animals in the reserve were amazed by the bond that he had formed with the lions. They had never seen anything like it before. As the weeks went by, the cubs grew bigger and stronger. They learned how to hunt and how to fight, and they were always by Toto's side. They loved playing with him and learning from him. Toto was patient and kind, and he was always willing to help them learn. One day, however, one of the cubs got into trouble. He was playing near a watering hole when a group of hyenas approached. The hyenas were vicious, and they wanted to make a meal out of the cub, but Toto saw the danger and rushed to help. He barked and snapped at the hyenas, and they eventually backed off. The cub was shaken but unharmed. Toto was hailed as a hero once again. As the years passed, Toto's legend grew. He became known throughout the reserve as the dog who saved the lions. People came from all over to see him, and he was even featured in a documentary about the Masai Mara. Toto's story is a reminder that size doesn't matter. He was just a small dog, but he had the courage and determination to help those in need. He showed that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the most adaptable. Toto was able to use his intelligence and agility to outsmart the lions, and he was able to form a bond with them that led to an unlikely friendship. Another lesson we can learn from Toto is the importance of helping others. Even though Toto was small and could have easily run away from the lions, he chose to stay and help Sita and her cubs. He didn't know what would happen next, but he was willing to risk his life to save theirs. This shows us that we should never underestimate the power of kindness and compassion. Finally, Toto's story teaches us that anything is possible. No matter how different we are from each other, we can overcome our differences and work together to achieve a common goal. Toto and the lions were from two completely different worlds, but they were able to put aside their differences and form an unbreakable bond. And so, the legend of Toto, the brave little dog who saved the lions, lives on in the Masai Mara to this day. His story is a source of inspiration for people all over the world, reminding them that it's not the size that matters, but the heart. Now, check out. Dog saves owner from drowning. Heroic Labrador jumps into lake and brings back his owner after he suffered a seizure and fell into the water. Or watch. Dog runs away from home to save mom from abusive dad.